Hello and warm regards from Next Test team. Welcome to another episode of Daily News Analysis. Today is 10th June and the following topics will be covered today. The first topic is about nickel. Nickel, as we know, is very important. First of all, in the batteries we see, then there are nickel alloys. It is used in ferromagnetic alloys as well. So there are multiple use of the nickel. A new technique has been devised in which the extraction of nickel becomes more easier as well as it is less polluting. So we are going to study about this new technology as well as the importance and significance of nickel in our daily life. Second topic that we are going to cover is about the SEZ, the Special Economic Zones. There have been new rules that have been devised and these rules are in the context of promoting the chip industry in the country. So we are going to study about that and their effects also. The third topic is about Bhagwan Birsa Munda. He has been a great tribal leader during the freedom struggle and we are going to study about his life because today is the Martyrs' Day of Bhagwan Birsa Munda. Next is about tardigrades. Tardigrades are invertebrates that can survive under extreme conditions, extremely harsh conditions. So this Axiom 4 mission that is going, these tardigrades will be going to be one of the study subjects for them, that how they are going to behave in the space, how much they can survive in the conditions that are there in the space. For example, high ultraviolet radiations are there. There are temperature extremities, there are pressure extremities also. So how these invertebrates, small invertebrates, are going to behave in that manner. And lastly, in the decoded section, we are going to discuss about women in agriculture. This 2026 year has been declared as the International Year for women farmers, and this has been declared by United Nations. So we are going to study about what is the role of women in agriculture, in food security, the challenges that they are facing, social, economical and other challenges, and lastly about the steps that have been taken by the Indian government as well as what other initiatives need to be taken to improve the condition of women in the agriculture. So let's start with the first topic. The first topic that we are having is about nickel. How can the extracting and producing nickel can be more sustainable? This is the topic headline. Now the backdrop here is that the development of sustainable technology for extraction of nickel has been now devised. And this topic becomes relevant first of all from the minerals and resources part of economics as well as geography. And from sustainability part, it becomes important for ecology as well. And when we talk about nickel, so we are talking about the batteries also, because nickel cadmium batteries are very popular along with the lithium that are replacing these nickel cadmium batteries. But still nickel plays a very important role in the energy storage sector of our economy. So this topic becomes relevant from GS 1 to 1 and 3 and from the geography, economics and ecology section. Now next thing is about something about the news. The scientists at the Max Planck Institute for Sustainable Materials, Germany, have introduced a novel approach to nickel extraction by replacing the conventional multi-step process. This conventional multi-step process includes the following processes like calcination, smelting, reduction and refining. And these processes were responsible for production of a lot of CO2 and other carbon emissions. Now the key drawbacks for these conventional processes were, the first was it was highly energy intensive. Secondly, it generated a larger amount of CO2, over 20 tons per ton of nickel produced. 20 tons of CO2 was produced per ton of nickel production. Then next, it was very complex. It involved multiple complex steps, and lastly, it was not suitable for low grade laterite ores. So nickel basically is found in two forms. One is sulfide ores and another one is laterite ores. The sulfide ores are found deep in the earth, whereas laterite ores, as you might have heard the term laterite soils. So these are found along with the laterite soils. In India, in Odisha, there is a lot of amount of laterite ores that are found which are rich in nickel. Now next is this new hydroplasma method has been now developed for the nickel extraction. It is sustainable. Why? Because it uses hydrogen plasma instead of carbon, and it reduces the nickel oxide to metal nickel, and there is no need for carbon dioxide. So this hydrogen plasma is used for reducing nickel oxide to the metallic nickel. Earlier in the conventional method, we are using carbon, and carbon dioxide was being produced during this process. Now in this process, hydrogen oxide, or you can say water, will be produced. Next, high purity ferro-nickel alloys suitable for stainless steel production can be easily obtained. Whereas in the conventional method, still involved a lot of steps to produce these ferro-nickel alloys, which were of high purity. Then what are the key advantages here with the new methodology? The first one is that it is energy efficient. It is up to 18% more efficient than the previous conventional one. For example, if previously 100 units were being used, in this 82 units will be required for production of the same amount of nickel. Secondly, it is a cleaner method. Why? Because hydrogen plasma is being used here, whereas in the previous method carbon was being used. So the carbon emissions will be reduced up to 84% as compared to the conventional or current practice. It will eliminate the use of carbon as the reducing agent. That is the basic reason why carbon emissions are getting reduced here. Also, it is more efficient. That's why the electricity that we are generating, that will also be less consumed. Then it is effective for processing laterite ores. Usually in the conventional method, only the sulfide ores can be processed to produce nickel. Now, in this new hydroplasma method, the laterite ores can also be used to produce nickels. The next, the method produces high purity ferro-nickel, an alloy which sustainable stainless steel can be made, eliminating the need for extensive refining process. It means to say that the high purity ferro-nickel alloy, high purity ferro-nickel alloy required extensive refining process earlier. Now, is through this hydroplasma method, we can easily produce this high purity ferro-nickel oil. And lastly, chemical reactions proceed more efficiently due to highly reactive and unstable nature of hydrogen plasma. So, these are the major advantages of this new hydroplasma method. Now, there are certain limitations also, because as this method is very new, it is still in the developmental stage. So, the initial infrastructure cost is going to be very high. The infrastructure in electric arc furnaces, plasma generation system and hydrogen supply network will be the main factors that will be affecting the cost or capex or capital cost for this infrastructure development for producing this nickel alloy. Next, it requires further research to understand reaction kinematics in different ore types. Then, scaling it up for large volume continuous production presents engineering and economic hurdles that we have already discussed, that still it is a nascent stage. It is still being developed. So, more research is required. It also needs a lot of economic as well as engineering aptitude to scale up the process. Then, ore type limitations are also there. While effective on laterite oils, its efficiency across all nickel alloys, including the sulfide ores, need to be studied, further studies. So, these are the main limitations with this new hydrogen plasma method. Now, if we talk about India, so in India, the sulfide ores are not much there, but we have a lot of laterite ores, and these are basically concentrated in Odisha, Sukinda region. So, this new method will be helpful for India by using the Odisha, Sukinda's region ores to extract the nickel. And nickel, as we know, is one of the critical minerals. It reduces dependence on imported high grade ores that we are going to have benefit. Then it will support India's net zero 2070 goal also, because this new methods is producing less carbon emissions, 85% less carbon emissions. So, this will also help us in reducing our carbon emissions as well. Now, at last, let's discuss about nickel also. So, nickel is a silvery white, hard, malleable and ductile material, and in most of the alloys, in high performing alloys, nickel is being used, especially with iron. It is a good conductor of heat as well as electricity. It has ferromagnetic properties, that's why used in magnetic alloys as well. Has high resistance to corrosion and oxidation, and you might have heard about that nickel currency. So, earlier nickel was also being used in the form of coins as well. It readily forms alloys with other metals, particularly chromium, to create stainless and hard heat resistant steels. If we talk about the alloys of the nickel, so basically it is found in two forms, sulfide and laterite ores. So, these sulfide ores have high content of nickel, 1 to 3%, whereas laterite ores have hardly 0.8 to 1.5% of nickel concentration. Formation of an occurrence, if we talk about, the sulfide ores are formed deep underground via hydrothermal activity, whereas these laterite ores are formed near the surface in the tropical weathering zone near the laterite soils. This processing method, smelting and refining, is required in the sulfide ores, whereas for the laterite ores, this high pressure acid leaching and pyrometallurgy techniques are required. Then lastly, the occurrence. The sulfide ores are found in Canada, Russia and Australia. The laterite ores are found in tropical countries, mainly Indonesia, Philippines, India, in Odisha region. These are the important ores. Now lastly, about the application of nickel. So nickel is used in stainless steel, in non-ferrous alloys, then electroplating, alloy steels, foundries and others. Now this 68% means that 68% of the total nickel that is being produced is used in the stainless steel. 10% is used in non-ferrous alloys. Then for electroplating, 9% ores are used. For alloy steel, 7% are used. So these are the various uses of this nickel. Now if we go in detail, the nickel is used in following activities. In rechargeable batteries as nickel cadmium and nickel molybdenum and lithium ion batteries for electric vehicles and electronics. Then coinage, it is used in coins due to its hardness and corrosion resistance. Then magnetic alloys, alnico, that is important. Microphone capsule, guitar strings, the nickel is being used. Special alloys, Invar, Monel, Inconel, Mnemonic, for extreme conditions are the nickel is being used. Then as a catalyst also, Raney nickel is used in hydrogenation. When we are hydrogenation is a process where hydrogen is added to the oils and fats. So that is hydrogenation. Then plating and coating in fixtures, decorative finish, green tinted glass, nickel is being used. Then construction and engineering, tools, machinery, piping, electronics, connectors, sensors and semiconductors. Then fuel cells, nickel mesh form in gas diffusion electrodes. Then super alloys, that is important. Aerospace and reusable space launch vehicles, for example Zenith engine, the nickel is being used to make these super alloys. Then shape memory alloys, nickel titanium for medicinal devices. Then PGM recovery, it is used in assay and refining platinum groups of metal. Then hard metals like binder in tungsten carbide tools and Creighton devices, nickel 63 isotope for ionization in electronic switches. So these are the important applications of nickel metal. Now lastly, the occurrence of nickel in India. So in India, Odisha has the major nickel ore reserves in the form of laterite ores. So it is having 1.175 million tons of nickel in the laterite ores. Then Jharkhand 9.4%, then Nagaland it is 5.6, and total we have 190 million tons of nickel reserves in the country. In terms of global level, Australia, Indonesia, South Africa, Russia and Canada are the important nickel producing countries. They account for more than 50% of the global nickel resources. Then Indonesia and Australia hold the largest nickel reserves globally, and Indonesia is the world's largest producer of nickel. So these things you should be knowing. These becomes very important from your prelims point of view perspective. Now you have to attempt this MCQ and you have to post the answer in the comment box. The second topic that we are going to cover is about Bhagwan Birsa Munda. Bhagwan Birsa Munda was a great tribal leader and he was one of the leading figures for the Munda revolt, and he fought for the tribal rights against the British, the colonial empire. Now why we are reading about it? Because Prime Minister paid tribute to the great hero of freedom struggle Bhagwan Birsa Munda on the occasion of his martyr day, that is on June 9. And this topic becomes relevant from GS paper 1, art and culture as well as modern history. The question can be from prelims perspective as well as from mains perspective. The question can be asked from the personality section that discuss about the contributions of Bhagwan Birsa Munda, why he is so much celebrated in the country. So let's read about him. Bhagwan Birsa Munda was born on 15th November 1875 in Ulihatu village, Kunti district of present day Jharkhand. He belonged to Munda tribe from Chota Nagpur plateau. He came from a very humble origin. His father was a sharecropper, and due to his works, he was regarded as Bhagwan Birsa Munda that is worshipped as a deity, and also as Dharti Aba, that is father of the earth. Early education was under Jaipal Nag, and during his school days, Birsa Munda came in contact with German missionaries, but he later on became disillusioned and was eventually expelled. This led him to leave Chaibasa in 1890. Then later on, he adopted the Vaishnavism and was influenced by Anand Panre. He was skilled in playing flute, traditional instruments like Tolia, and was a good dancer as well. He was founder of Bharat sect, which promoted tribal culture, values, and social reforms. He was against alcoholism, superstition, black magic, and he opposed them. And he also asked and influenced the tribals to oppose these things. Then he promoted cleanliness, awareness of the tribal heritage, and social upliftment. Then we have to talk about the Munda rebellion as well, which have been very important. The Ulugan, the Great Tumult, also known as Munda rebellion, it happened during the time period of 1895 to 1900. The basic cause was exploitation by Dikus under the colonial rule. Dikus were the outsiders. Dikus, the outsiders in the tribal areas, are also known as Dikus. So this colonial or Britishers, they introduced the outsiders to these tribal areas. And when these outsiders came to these tribal areas, they exploited them. There was introduction of zamindari system in the tribal areas, which led to displacement, and it also disregarded the tribal land rights. The Kunkati system was being replaced by the zamindari system. These were the important reasons due to which this Munda rebellion happened. Now, there were guerrilla warfares. They attacked British symbols like police station, churches, government buildings. They mobilized Orans, Khariyas, and other tribal groups in Chota Nagpur Plateau, Bengal, and Odisha. So it was a violent revolt basically. Using guerrilla warfare, the British symbols were being hit like police stations, churches, and government buildings. Then he was arrested in 1895 for the first time and jailed for 2 years. Then post-release, he continued revolutionary activities until he was re-arrested. And ultimately, he died of cholera in 1900 in the Ranchi jail. Bhagwan Birsa Munda gave the slogan, Abu Ras Sitar Jana, Maharani Raj Tundu Jana. That means that let the queen rule end and our rule begin. So, Bhagwan Birsa Munda was in the favor of self-rule. Then, about his legacy. Janjatiya Gaurav Divas is celebrated on 15th November, that is his birth anniversary, to honor his tribal contributions. Then Chota Nagpur Tenancy Act of 1908 was also passed due to this Munda revolt. It was passed posthumously due to the impact of his movement. Prohibited land transfer from tribal areas to the non-tribals. Then Jharkhand Foundation Day is also celebrated since 2000 on this day itself. Then institutions have been in his name. Birsa Agriculture University, Birsa Institute of Technology, then Birsa College, Kunti. Then films have also been made on him. Ulugan Ek Kranti, Gandhi Se Pehle Gandhi. Then novel has been written, Iyengar Adhikar by Mahashweta Devi. Then a 150 tall statue has been erected in Jharkhand in 2016 to honor. Now, Birsa Munda Museum has also been constructed to honor him, and a central scheme PM Janman for the tribal justice and empowerment is also being run in honor of Bhagwan Birsa Munda. He was also mentioned in PM's Man Ki Baat, recognized as a symbol of eco-consciousness and resistance. So this was about Bhagwan Birsa Munda. Now, this is the question of Bhagwan Birsa Munda. You have to attempt it and you have to post in the comment box. The next topic is about SEZ or Special Economic Zone. The topic is in the backdrop that the Union government has notified several changes to the regulations of the setting up of Special Economic Zone for manufacturing of semiconductors or electronic parts. Now, this topic is relevant from GS paper 3, that is changes in the industrial policy and their effect on industrial growth. So, let's see about the news. What is the news? Now, before going forward, let's know something about this Special Economic Zone. What are these Special Economic Zone? If we talk about the definition, it is defined as a geographical region within a country which is subjected to special economic laws which are less restrictive than those governing the rest of the country. What does this mean? It simply means that in our country, for example, there are economic rules, there are taxes, there are multiple legal formalities that we have to cover. Now, when we compare these legal formalities, when we compare this legal framework of our country with other countries like Singapore, China, or any other country, we find that we are very much rigid in our legal system to protect our labor class, to protect our to get more taxes for multiple things. But this legal framework actually is a point of contention for the industries. They don't want to put industries in a country which is having so rigid and so complex legal structure, because they have to go for multiple compliances. So in that case, to promote that more industries should be installed in the country, more people, more investment should come to the country, this concept of special economic zone was devised. The special economic zone is an area where the economic laws of the country are not applicable, or you can say the economic related laws are being relaxed here. For example, there will be very less taxation, the legal formalities will not be there, the labor laws will not be so rigid, they will be very liberal in these regions, so that the industrialist is not facing difficulties in putting investment in these regions. So the special economic zone is a designated area within a country that operates under relaxed fiscal and regulatory framework to attract investment, boost trade and generate employment. These zones are often benefits of duty-free operations, tax holidays and simplified rules for business, taxation, customs and labor, making them easier to administer and promoting the ease of doing business. So this is the basic objective of a SEZ or special economic zone. That is, a special geographical area has been demarcated where the rules are going to be relaxed, so that the factories, the manufacturing units can be put up there without any hassle, and the investment is being encouraged in these regions. Now, what are the special provisions here? First of all, this special economic zone policy was launched in year 2000. According to that, a special economic zone act was passed in 2005 and it came into force on 23rd June 2005. Then SEZ rules were framed in 2006 and they were effective from 10th February 2006 itself. The key features here were, first of all, the special economic zones are going to be duty-free enclaves. What do you mean by duty-free enclaves? Whenever, for example, this is our country and this is a special economic zone. Whenever any product comes to India, they have to pay a custom duty. Customs होते हैं, they have to pay a custom duty. But if a product is directed towards a special economic zone, then this custom duty will not be put up there. So, for example, if you are having a manufacturing unit in this special economic zone and you are bringing some machinery from outside, for example, from China or USA, then you don't have to pay this custom duty if that product is going for this special economic zone. It will be treated as a outside India's custom territory for authorized operations, right? So there will be some conditionalities also. You cannot bring gold there as such. If the gold is being brought, that gold should be used for export purpose, not for the domestic use. So there are certain conditions, but you don't have to pay extra custom duty there. So the import become easier there. Secondly, no import license will be required in the special economic zone. Then manufacturing and service activities will be permitted in these economic zones. Then units must maintain positive net foreign exchange over 5 years if they want to avail these benefits. Basically, the concept of special economic zone was put up so that we can increase our exports. So wherever the provisions we are going to see, they will be more or less export oriented. So if you are bringing any product inside a special economic zone for processing, after processing, that final product should be going out. It should not be going domestically for domestic consumption. If any product is being used for domestic consumption, then the custom duty will be imposed. For example, this product has been brought to India. मान लो ये X product है. Now this X product, for example, this X product might be cotton. Now, after using cotton and after making textile from it, if this textile is being sent to, for example, Bihar, then that particular unit has to pay custom duty. If this textile has to be exported to Saudi Arabia, then this custom duty has not to be paid. So if the product is directed for outside exports, then there is no need to pay for the custom duties. Then domestic sales are allowed but subject to full custom duty, as I have told you. Freedom of subcontract operation is also there. No routine custom checks on import-export cargo will be there. Then tax benefits provided to SEZ developers, co-developers and units as per SEZ Act of 2005. Now, there has been some changes recently to promote the chip industry in the country. So, what are these? The changes to SEZ regulation for semiconductor manufacturing, they have been brought in June 2025. The objective is to encourage capital intensive high-tech investment with long gestation period to promote semiconductor and electronic manufacturing. In Rule 5, the minimum land area for SEZ has been reduced from 50 hectares to 10 hectares if that particular SEZ is directed towards semiconductor or electronic sector. So, first of all, there is the reduction in the land criteria. Second is rule number 18. It says the SEZ unit for semiconductor and electronic component are allowed to supply to the domestic market as well. Earlier for domestic market the custom duty was to be paid. Now they have been exempted from that also. Then rule 7, land for SEZ no longer required to be encumbrance free if mortgage or leased to the government or its agencies. So that relaxation has also been given. Then approved SEZ proposals post notification. Micron Semiconductor Technology in India, Sanand, Gujarat, they are bringing 13,000 crore investment in the country. Then Equus, Hubali Durable Goods Cluster Private Limited, SEZ in Dharwad, Karnataka, that has also been given approval. Then lastly, border impact. What is going to be the impact on the borders? Boost to the high-tech manufacturing, semiconductor ecosystem and creation of the high-skilled jobs in the country. These are going to be the benefits for us. Now, based upon the discussion, you have to attempt this MCQ and you have to put your answers in the comment box. The next topic is about the tardigrades. Now, what are these tardigrades and why they are in news? First of all, why they are in news? Astronaut Shubhanshu Shukla will conduct an experiment on the International Space Station to study how tardigrades survive, recover and reproduce in the space. This topic becomes relevant from GS paper 3, awareness in the field of space as well as from the ecology point of view. So, science and technology and ecology, both topics are covered here. Now, let's see about the tardigrades. This is a tardigrade. Now, what are these? These are also known as water bears or moss piglets. These are tiny, aquatic, 8-legged invertebrates belonging to phylum Tardigrada, and they have existed for 600 million years ago. That means they have survived almost all major mass extinctions. When we talk about mass extinctions, one prominent example is about dinosaurs. They peaked during the Jurassic period, and in the Triassic period they were actually gone. Then they are found in diverse environments from deep oceans to high mountains, especially in mosses and lichens. Then they require thin layer of water to survive. So these are the important things about tardigrades. Then why tardigrades are used for space studies? First of all, they are extremely resilient to temperature ranges from minus 273 degrees Celsius to 150 degrees Celsius. Minus 273 means it is going for absolute zero. So they have a very wide range of survival. They can survive from extremely cold to a very hot temperature. Then ultraviolet rays, they are resistant to them also, and also to the vacuum. In vacuum also they can survive. They can survive under high pressure as well. So with respect to temperature, with respect to pressure, with respect to ultraviolet rays, they have very high resistance to these extreme conditions. They can go for long time freezing periods also, up to 30 years. If they are also being frozen, they can survive that also. They are first animals to survive direct exposure to the space, and some have even reproduced after returning from the space. So that's why these become very important for the space studies. Now, if we talk about the voyage tardigrade experiment ISS 2025, it says that it aims to study their revival, survival and reproduction in the space conditions. Secondly, Tardigrades will be revived from turn stage. Turn means shrunken dormant stage of tardigrades. That is known as turn state. The focus will be on identifying genes and proteins responsible for their resilience. Now, how do they survive? They enter into cryptobiosis and hydrobiosis stage. That means they shut down metabolism to near zero and lose body water. That it forms a tune, that is a dried up protective state. They produce cryptoplasmic abundant heat soluble CASHS protein. It helps them to form a gel like matrix within their cells, vitrifying and protecting essential cellular components from destruction. Switch to gene for ATP synthesis and DNA repair during radiation exposure, and produce antioxidant proteins to neutralize the free radicals. So, these are the mechanisms through which they are able to survive the harsh conditions. Now, if we talk about the significance of studying these tardigrades, first of all, it will help in improved microbial drought tolerance. Tardigrades IDP, heat soluble, enhance desiccation resistance in engineered microbes. Second, heat and drought survival in the industry. Tardigrades derived small heat shock protein improve microbial stability in harsh environments. Then medicinal protein stability. Tardigrades mechanism can increase shelf life of vaccine, enzymes and antibodies. Then cell therapy applications. Tardigrades cell protection mechanisms aid in preserving human cells for therapy and transport. And space technology. Research can inform radiation protection and durability of astronauts and space material. And lastly, the additional potential uses can be, will help in shield astronauts from space radiation, preserve organs and tissues, aid in nuclear disaster cleanup and improve cancer treatment strategies. So, these are the important applications for which the tardigrades held significance. Now, based upon the discussion, you can attempt the MCQ and you can post it in the comment box. Now, it's time for decoding the editorial. The topic that we are having today is about women in agriculture. Now, it is a backdrop that United Nations General Assembly has declared 2026 as the International Year for Women Farmers. It is relevant from GS paper 3 economy and agriculture and GS 1 also from the society section, because women come from a vulnerable section and we need to do for the welfare measures for these vulnerable sections. Also, you can cover this from GS second perspective also, GS paper 2 perspective also. Now, let's move about the news. The news is that United Nations General Assembly has declared 2026 as the International Year of the Woman Farmer, garnering the support of over 100 co-sponsors. The resolution celebrates the essential role of women in global agriculture while raising awareness for their challenges, which include property rights and market access. So, these are the two basic things that the women farmers face. They do not have the property rights, due to which they are not able to get credit facilities. Secondly, they are not having market access as well. Going to the market, accessing the facilities that are available there, accessing the consumers, that become difficult for a woman farmer. For that they need a male counterpart. Now, let's see what are the significance. First of all, what is the significance of women farmers in agriculture? They play a very important role in food security. Women contribute 60 to 80% of food production in the developing countries. In South Asia itself, they make up 39% of the agricultural labor force, that is 40%. They ensure food availability and dietary diversity at the family and community levels. Closing the gender gap in agriculture could increase yields on women farm by 20 to 30%. That is set by FAO, Food and Agriculture Organization. Then pillars of rural livelihood. Around 80% of the economically active women in India are engaged in agriculture. Their work sustains rural households, livelihood and community nutrition as well. Then, they are custodians of the indigenous knowledge as also. Women preserve and pass down the traditional farming practices, seed selection and natural pest control methods. Their local knowledge is crucial for agro-biodiversity and sustainable farming. They are agents of climate resilience as well. Women are at the front line of climate impact and adapt using indigenous and innovative technologies or techniques. The projects like Enact in Assam show that empowering women enhances community level and climate adaptation. Then drivers of the social change. Empowering women in agriculture promotes gender equality, economic inclusion and rural transformation. It strengthens social structures through collective action like self-help groups and women farmer producer organizations. Now, the challenges that the women farmers are facing. First of all, they have limited land ownership. See, only 8.3% of women have land ownership. That is according to the NFHS 5. Now, when you are not having land, that simply means the credit facilities also become very difficult for you, because basically land is used as a collateral for getting credit. So that there are two challenges. First of all, no land ownership. Secondly, the credit facilities. And you imagine a situation where there is a single mother, the father is not there. In that case, not having land or having limited land ownership becomes very difficult for the woman, and even that is not socially very much acceptable in the society, that the woman is having land in her name. Either it should go to her children or it should be to her husband. So that is one of the issues. Second, poor access to credit and financial services, because already she is not having access to land. Second, her credit worthiness also decreases. So lack of land titles make it difficult to obtain credit limits and their access to financial institutions. Then microfinance and SHG loans are available but are often too small, and large scale investment in farm equipment or irrigation is not being completed by them. Then limited access to information is there, because as a woman farmer you are not having much interaction with others. So the response of market trends, weather conditions and climate risk, these kind of information are not much available to the women. Now in the context of digitalization, although this access has increased, but still the practical knowledge is somewhere not reaching to the women. Then inadequate agricultural training and extension services. Extension programs are male oriented and often overlook the woman farmer. The next, unpaid and invisible work, labor that the women are doing. Women perform a majority of subsistence and post-harvest work, but their contributions often go unpaid or unrecognized. Then social and cultural barriers are also there. Gender norms restrict women's mobility, participation in market and access to decision-making forums. So that is one more challenge, where even the women are not getting empowered, and when they are not getting empowered, they are not going to get benefits, because the policy will not be in accordance to their needs. Who will be there to show that what a woman needs, what a woman farmer needs? So they are not having representation, there are social barriers, there are cultural barriers there, and that is resulting in more exploitation of the women farmers. Then women are often excluded from cooperatives and farmer producer organizations as well. Next, greater vulnerability to climate change. Climate change disproportionately affects women farmers by increasing their domestic responsibilities and elevating their exposure to agricultural risk. So that is one more challenge that they face. Lack of gender sensitive data is one more problem here. It leads to generic interventions that may not benefit women absolutely. Only general interventions will be there from the government side. And even the farmers always are protesting and saying that the government is not taking enough initiatives for them. And in that case, the generic interventions, the women farmers will be absolutely left behind. Next is, what are the measures that are being taken? First of all, government schemes and program. Mahila Kisan Shashastikaran Pariyojana, building a capacity, improving access to resources and enhancing their role in decision making. Then focus on sustainable agriculture, livelihood diversification and collective action. Submission on Agriculture Mechanism SMEM provides 50 to 80% subsidy on farm machinery for the women. Then National Food Security Mission 30% allocation is earmarked for the women farmers. Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana, women farmers receive priority in beneficiary selection for the micro irrigation systems. So these are the important schemes that are directed towards the women farmers. Next is capacity building and training. Krishi Vigyan Kendras offer training programs and demonstrations on farming techniques tailored to the women itself. National Gender Resource Center in Agriculture to mainstream gender issues in agriculture policy and research. and ANECT project by Assam. For example, state projects are also there. By UNFWFB and Government of Assam, funded by Norway, it provides climate advisories, promote flood-resistant crop varieties, and encourage smart seed production. So these are the various initiatives that are being run by the government. Now, what can be further done? For example, we should be focusing on access to market, empower women's participation in farmer producer organizations. Secondly, support direct market linkage through SSD based rural huts and ENAM. Promote branding and marketing of women produced goods like GI tagging, organic certification, etc. Then access to credit and finance. Promote women friendly credit policies through NABARD and banks. Facilitate access to Kisan credit card for women farmers. Create special financial products for women-led SHG or cooperatives. Then gender sensitivity and policy design. Formulate and implement agricultural policies that address specific needs and challenges for the woman farmer, that we need to do. Then next, we need gender focused data as well. We need to collect and use detailed data with a gender lens to develop targeted solutions such as appropriate farming tool, credit models, and saving practices. So we need these type of data as well. Then we need women-led agri-value chains also. We need to focus upon them also. Promote agricultural value chains that are not just inclusive but managed by the women. That will give more voice to them. Then enhance access to or information. For example, improve women access to climate advisories, market information to increase productivity and resilience. Then support collective action, strengthen women networks such as self-help groups to facilitate peer support, capacity building and economic empowerment. And lastly, institutional support is also required. Form and support women-led cooperatives and FPOs. So these are the initiatives that we need to do, because women farmers play a very important role in our economy, in our rural economy and in our rural households also. They understand food better than anyone, and they are playing a major role in the food production and in the agriculture production as well as food security of the country. Now, based upon the discussion, you have to attempt this mains answer and you can get it checked by us. So with this, we conclude for the day. Thank you very much.